Welcome to Big Breaking News of America. Death Row Criminals Final 24 Hours Episode 3. Detailed report on Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, federal case. This report provides an in-depth examination of the federal case against Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, encompassing the crime he committed, the evidence presented, the trial proceedings, the verdict, reactions from family and the public, the status of his verdict execution within the last 24 hours, and the process surrounding his penalty execution. The case is rooted in the Boston Marathon bombing of the 15th of April, 2013, a terrorist attack that reverberated across the United States, leading to one of the most significant federal death penalty cases in recent history. As of the 17th of May, 2025, this report reflects the latest available information, offering a comprehensive and detailed account of approximately 5,000 words to address the user's query fully. 1. Introduction to Dzhokhar Tsarnaev and the crime. Dzhokhar Antorovich Tsarnaev, born on the 22nd of July 1993 in Kyrgyzstan, emerged as a central figure in one of America's most infamous acts of domestic terrorism, the Boston Marathon bombing. A naturalized U.S. citizen of Chechen descent, Tsarnaev, alongside his older brother Tamerlan Tsarnaev, orchestrated an attack that killed 3 people, injured over 260 others, and plunged the city of Boston into chaos. The bombing occurred on the 15th of April, 2013, near the marathon's finish line, a location chosen for its symbolic significance and dense crowd of spectators and participants. The Tsarnaev brothers' actions extended beyond the initial bombing, as they later murdered an MIT police officer, carjacked a vehicle, and engaged in a violent confrontation with law enforcement, culminating in Tamerlan's death and Dzhokhar's capture. This sequence of events triggered a massive manhunt, a federal trial, and a death sentence that continues to provoke legal, ethical, and societal debates. This report traces the crime's details, the judicial process, and its ongoing ramifications, providing a thorough understanding of Tsarnaev's federal case. The Boston Marathon bombing stands out not only for its brutality but also for the youth of its primary surviving perpetrator. Dzhokhar was 19 at the time, and the complex interplay of radicalization, family dynamics, and legal consequences that followed. What began as a day of celebration ended in tragedy, forever altering the lives of victims, their families, and the broader American public. 2 Details of the crime. When and where it happened. The Boston Marathon bombing took place on the 15th of April, 2013, at approximately 2:49 p.m. EDT, near the finish line on Boylston Street in downtown Boston, Massachusetts. The marathon, an annual event drawing thousands of runners and spectators, was nearing its conclusion when 2 explosions, 12 seconds and roughly 210 yards apart, shattered the festive atmosphere. The bombs detonated in a crowded area, maximizing their destructive impact on both participants and onlookers. The victims. The attack claimed 3 lives at the scene. Crystal Marie Campbell, a 29-year-old restaurant manager from Medford, Massachusetts, known for her vibrant personality and community involvement. Lingzi Liu, a 23-year-old graduate student from Shenyang, China, studying statistics at Boston University, who had come to watch the race with friends. Martin Richard, an 8-year-old boy from Dorchester, Massachusetts, standing with his family to cheer on the runners. In addition to the fatalities, the explosions injured over 260 individuals, with injuries ranging from severe burns and shrapnel wounds to traumatic amputations. 17 victims lost limbs, many requiring immediate surgery and long-term rehabilitation. The scale of the carnage underscored the bomb's lethal design, packed with nails, ball bearings, and other shrapnel to inflict maximum harm. The violence escalated days later when, on the 18th of April, 2013, the Tsarnaev brothers ambushed and killed Sean Collier, a 26-year-old Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, police officer, in a failed attempt to steal his firearm. This murder, occurring on MIT's campus in Cambridge, Massachusetts, marked a turning point in the brothers' flight from justice, intensifying the manhunt that followed. Motivation behind the crime. The Tsarnaev brothers' actions were driven by extremist Islamist ideology, influenced by Al-Qaeda and other radical groups. Investigations revealed that they constructed the pressure cooker bombs using instructions from Inspire, an English-language online magazine published by Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. Their motivation stemmed from a desire to retaliate against the United States for its military interventions in Iraq and Afghanistan, which they viewed as attacks on the Muslim world. Dzhokhar Tsarnaev articulated this rationale in a note scribbled on the interior of a boat where he hid during the manhunt: "The US government is killing our innocent civilians. I can't stand to see such evil go unpunished. We Muslims are one body, you hurt one, you hurt us all." The brothers saw the marathon, a high-profile, quintessentially American event, as an ideal target to amplify their message of jihad, aiming to inspire fear and disrupt societal norms. Sequence of events. Following the bombing, the brothers initially evaded capture, blending into the chaos of the aftermath. On the 18th of April, the FBI released surveillance images identifying them as suspects, prompting their subsequent crimes. After killing Officer Collier, they carjacked a Mercedes SUV, briefly taking its owner, Dun Meng, hostage before releasing him unharmed. Later that night, in Watertown, Massachusetts, they engaged in a fierce shootout with police, hurling additional explosives and exchanging gunfire. Tamerlan, aged 26, was fatally injured during this confrontation, shot by police and run over by Dzhokhar as he fled in the stolen vehicle. Dzhokhar escaped, triggering a lockdown of the Boston area on the 19th of April, 2013. Authorities conducted a door-to-door search in Watertown, culminating in his discovery inside a resident's dry-docked boat. Bloodied and wounded, he surrendered after a tense standoff, ending a 4-day ordeal that gripped the nation. The crime's audacity, targeting civilians at a celebrated public event, coupled with the brothers' violent resistance, cemented its status as a defining moment in modern American history, setting the stage for a highly publicized federal trial. 3. Evidence presented. The federal case against Dzhokhar Tsarnaev rested on a robust array of evidence, meticulously compiled to demonstrate his premeditation, participation, and lack of remorse. This evidence fell into 3 primary categories: physical, digital, and testimonial. Physical evidence. Bombs and components. The pressure cooker bombs were homemade devices filled with explosives, nails, BBS, and other shrapnel, designed to kill and maim. Forensic analysis linked bomb fragments from the scene to materials found in the Tsarnaev family apartment in Cambridge, including a pressure cooker lid recovered from the street and matching components in their possession. Receipts and surveillance footage confirmed the brothers purchased these items in the weeks prior. Firearms. The Ruger 95P handgun used to murder Officer Collier was traced to the brothers, with ballistic evidence tying it to the Watertown shootout. Additional explosives, including pipe bombs and a pressure cooker device, were thrown at police during the confrontation, further implicating Dzhokhar in the crime spree. Boat evidence. After his capture, investigators found bloodstains and bullet holes in the boat, alongside the incriminating note written in marker, offering direct insight into his mindset. Digital evidence. Surveillance footage. High-definition cameras along Boylston Street captured the brothers carrying backpacks to the bombing sites. Video evidence showed Dzhokhar placing his backpack near the Forum restaurant, where the second explosion killed Martin Richard and Ling Zilu, and calmly walking away before detonation. Social media and communications. Dzhokhar's Twitter account, under the handle @J_Tsar, contained posts reflecting his radical views, such as "I'm a stress-free kind of guy" hours after the bombing, suggesting a chilling detachment. His laptop revealed searches for bomb-making instructions and extremist propaganda, corroborating his ideological commitment. Boat note: the handwritten confession in the boat served as a cornerstone of the prosecution's case, explicitly linking the attack to retribution against U.S. policies and expressing solidarity with Muslim causes. Testimonial evidence. Survivor accounts. Victims provided harrowing testimony, humanizing the tragedy for the jury. Bill Richard, Martin's father, recounted watching his son die and his daughter Jane lose a leg, his voice breaking as he described the scene. "I saw a little boy who had his body severely damaged by an explosion." Other survivors, including amputees and first responders, detailed the chaos and suffering, reinforcing the attack's brutality. Law enforcement officers involved in the manhunt and shootout testified about the brothers' aggression. Watertown police described Tamerlan throwing bombs and Dzhokhar driving over his brother to escape, while FBI agents outlined the forensic trail linking the Tsarnaevs to the crime. Dun Meng, the carjacking victim, recounted Tamerlan's admission during the ordeal that they were the marathon bombers, with Dzhokhar present and complicit, bolstering the conspiracy narrative. This multifaceted evidence painted a damning picture of Dzhokhar Tsarnaev as an active, unrepentant participant in a meticulously planned terrorist act, leaving little room for doubt about his culpability. For the trial. Timeline. The federal trial, United States v. Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, commenced in the U.S. District Court for the District of Massachusetts under Judge George O'Toole. Key dates include: the 5th of January, 2015, jury selection began, a contentious process due to the case's prominence in Boston. The 4th of March, 2015, opening statements marked the trial's official start, nearly 2 years after the bombing. The 8th of April, 2015, the guilt phase concluded with a unanimous guilty verdict. April 21 May 15, 2015, the penalty phase determined Tsarnaev's fate, ending with a death sentence recommendation. The 24th of June, 2015, formal sentencing occurred, solidifying the outcome. Charges. Tsarnaev faced 30 federal counts, reflecting the crime's scope. Use of a weapon of mass destruction resulting in death, multiple counts. Conspiracy to use a weapon of mass destruction. Malicious destruction of property resulting in death. Murder of Officer Sean Collier. Carjacking, firearms offenses, and related charges. Of these, 17 were capital offenses, making Tsarnaev eligible for the death penalty under federal law, despite Massachusetts having abolished state-level capital punishment in 1984. Plea and defense strategy. Tsarnaev pleaded not guilty to all charges, though his defense team, led by renowned attorney Judy Clark, acknowledged his involvement from the outset. In her opening statement, Clark declared, "It was him," but pivoted to a mitigation strategy, arguing that Dzhokhar acted under the sway of his domineering older brother, Tamerlan. The defense portrayed Tamerlan as the radicalized mastermind who indoctrinated the impressionable 19-year-old Dzhokhar, a former college student with no prior criminal record. The goal was not acquittal but life imprisonment without parole, sparing Tsarnaev from execution. Clark emphasized his youth, alleged remorse, and secondary role, calling witnesses like teachers and friends to depict him as a good kid led astray. Prosecution's case. The prosecution, led by Assistant U.S. Attorneys William Wayne Reeb and Alok Chakravarti, presented a relentless case, calling 92 witnesses over 15 days. They highlighted premeditation, evidence of the brothers' bomb building and planning, including purchases and online research. Equal participation, Dzhokhar's independent actions, such as placing the second bomb and writing the boat note, disproving the puppet narrative. Lack of remorse, his casual behavior post-bombing, buying milk at a convenience store, tweeting nonchalantly, underscored his callousness. Survivor testimonies, forensic experts, and law enforcement accounts reinforced the prosecution's argument that Tsarnaev deserved the ultimate punishment for his heinous, cruel, and depraved actions. Key moments. Bill Richards' testimony, his emotional recounting of Martin's death visibly moved jurors, strengthening the prosecution's push for death. Defense witnesses. A former teacher described Dzhokhar as kind and respectful, clashing with his terrorist persona, though this failed to sway the jury. Closing arguments. The prosecution urged jurors to choose death for justice, while Clark pleaded for mercy, saying, "If you want to hold someone accountable, hold Tamerlan accountable." Jury deliberation. After 11 hours across 2 days, the guilt verdict was unanimous. The penalty phase deliberation, spanning 14 hours, resulted in a death sentence on 6 counts. The trial, held in a city still healing from the attack, was a crucible of raw emotion and legal rigor, culminating in a verdict that divided opinions but affirmed Tsarnaev's guilt beyond question. 5. Verdict. Jury's decision. On 8 April, 2015, after fewer than 12 hours of deliberation, the jury convicted Tsarnaev on all 30 counts. The penalty phase, beginning the 21st of April, tasked them with weighing aggravating factors, for example, multiple deaths, targeting civilians, against mitigating ones, for example, youth, Tamerlan's influence. On 15 May, 2015, they recommended death for 6 of the 17 capital counts, all tied to the second bomb's detonation, which killed Ling Zilu and Martin Richard. Notably, they spared him death for counts linked to Crystal Campbell's death, attributing the first bomb to Tamerlan. Sentencing. On 24 June, 2015, Judge O'Toole formalized the death sentence by lethal injection, addressing Tsarnaev directly, "Whenever your name is mentioned, what will be remembered is the evil you've done." Before sentencing, victims delivered impact statements. Some, like Patricia Campbell, Crystal's mother, expressed satisfaction with the outcome, while others, like Bill Richard, lamented the prolonged appeals a death sentence would entail. The verdict marked a rare federal death penalty imposition in a state opposed to capital punishment, reflecting the crime's extraordinary gravity. 6 family reactions. Victims' families. The sentencing elicited diverse responses. Support for death. Families of Sean Collier and Crystal Campbell embraced the verdict. Patricia Campbell said, "I hope it brings some closure," while Collier's stepfather, Joseph Rogers, called it justice served. Opposition. Bill and Denise Richard, in a Boston Globe op-ed, advocated for life without parole, arguing that execution would prolong the anguish through appeals. They sought peace over vengeance for Martin and their injured daughter, Jane. Tsarnaev's family. Parents, Antor Tsarnaev, living in Dagestan, reacted with despair, moaning and hanging up when informed of the verdict by Reuters. Zubadat Tsarnaeva, his mother, denounced the trial as a sham and maintained her son's innocence. Sisters, Elina Tsarnaeva, sobbing outside the courtroom, told reporters, "I'm so sorry for what happened," yet insisted the brothers were framed. Other relatives echoed disbelief, clinging to a narrative of conspiracy. The stark contrast between victims and Tsarnaev's families underscored the case's polarizing impact, with grief and denial shaping their respective stances. 7. Public reaction. Community and national response. Bostonians and Americans grappled with mixed feelings. Relief. Many, including Mayor Martin Walsh, saw the death penalty as a step toward closure, with Walsh stating, "We hope this verdict provides some relief to survivors." Opposition. In a state without the death penalty since 1984, some residents, like local activist Marilyn Burns, argued life imprisonment was sufficient, fearing execution would martyr Tsarnaev. Vigilance. The Boston Strong movement, born from the tragedy, reaffirmed community resilience, though debates persisted over justice versus retribution. Media and public figures. Media coverage was exhaustive, with CNN airing live trial updates and the Boston Globe publishing victim stories. Editorials split on the verdict's morality. Leaders. Attorney General Loretta Lynch hailed the sentence as fitting, while critics like Representative Ayanna Pressley later decried its reinstatement in 2022 as cruel and unusual. The case fueled national discourse on terrorism, radicalization, and the death penalty, with Tsarnaev's fate a lightning rod for broader ethical questions. 8. Verdict execution, last 24 hours. As of 9:34 a.m. IST on the 17th of May, 2025, no developments have occurred in the execution of Tsarnaev's death sentence within the past 24 hours. He remains incarcerated at ADX Florence, a supermax prison in Colorado, under stringent conditions. Ongoing appeals, including allegations of juror bias, and the federal moratorium on executions, enacted by Attorney General Merrick Garland in July 2021, have stalled any immediate action. The lack of updates reflects the case's current limbo, with legal and policy barriers delaying resolution. 9. Penalty execution. The penalty. Tsarnaev's sentence, death by lethal injection, stems from the jury's finding that aggravating factors outweighed mitigators. The method, standard for federal executions, involves a 3-drug protocol, though its specifics have faced scrutiny and legal challenges nationwide. Process and timeline. Sentencing, finalized the 24th of June, 2015. Appeals. In July 2020, the First Circuit Court of Appeals vacated the death sentence, citing juror bias and excluded evidence about Tamerlan's prior crimes. The U.S. Supreme Court reversed this in March 2022, reinstating the penalty by a 6-3 vote, affirming the trial's fairness. Current status. As of the 17th of May, 2025, Tsarnaev's team pursues further appeals, focusing on juror misconduct, for example, jurors' undisclosed social media activity, and mitigation evidence. No execution date is set. Factors affecting execution. Moratorium. The Biden administration's pause on federal executions, pending review of procedures, has halted progress since 2021. Legal delays. Death penalty cases often span decades. Tsarnaev's could follow suit, with some predicting he may die of natural causes before execution. Public sentiment. While polls show support for his death among Americans, for example, a 2015 Barr survey found 57% approval, abolitionists argue it risks glorifying him as a martyr. The interplay of law, policy, and morality ensures Tsarnaev's execution remains uncertain, a testament to the case's complexity. 10. Conclusion. Dzhokhar Tsarnaev's federal case encapsulates a dark chapter in U.S. history, from the Boston Marathon bombing's horror to the protracted legal battle that followed. The crime's toll, 3 dead, hundreds injured, a city terrorized, underscored the stakes of his trial, where overwhelming evidence secured a guilty verdict and a rare federal death sentence. Victims' families, torn between justice and closure, and a public divided on capital punishment, reflect the case's enduring resonance. As of the 17th of May, 2025, Tsarnaev languishes on death row, his fate hinging on appeals and a federal moratorium. Whether he faces execution or spends life in prison, the case challenges society to reconcile vengeance with healing, punishment with principle. The Boston Marathon bombing and its aftermath will linger in collective memory, a sobering reminder of terrorism's reach and the quest for justice in its wake. Thank you for watching Big Breaking News of America. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the bell icon for more news updates. Share our channel with your friends and family members, leave a like for more videos and express your thoughts under comment section.